So thank you all for joining. I would go straight into introducing our speakers. Please, if at any point you cannot hear me, please let me know. This is a how to learn writing series, the second part and the last. And we're having this because the last session we had was really quite short and we did not have enough time to really explore and tackle some of the questions we had in mind. So this is another opportunity for you to ask questions. We have our speakers here. Adenike will join us hopefully before we end the call. So, but we have two of our speakers here, and that's even more than enough already. So, get ready with your questions. So Toyadi, I'm going to call participants on the call right now. So, you get ready with your questions about writing or things related, that you believe that you'd like our speakers to answer. So I'll go straight to their profile and I'm going to be brief about it. So starting with, give me a second. So I'll start with Obodo. Oge Obodo is a prolific creative writer with over 3 years of experience in the writing industry. What merely started as a journey to express her writing talents quickly grew to her writing for various online brands. She's a content manager, scriptwriter, storyteller, you name it. She is well versed in the writing space and has received a lot of reviews to that effect. Currently, she works as a freelancer and is having fun doing what she loves and making money off it. So there we have Okay Obodo. Thank you so much for honoring our invites. We really appreciate it. I'll be moving on to our next speaker. She's also on the call, Wichendu Woroma Shalom. So Wichendu Woroma Shalom is a lady deeply committed to kingdom service and grooming teen girls. She's a graduate medical microbiologist, currently doing a second degree in medicine and surgery at the University of Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Her pursuits in the medical field, however, has not stopped her from fully harnessing her artistic side. She's a content writer with several publications online and a book editor who has successfully helped a number of authors take their books from the point of the idea to a fully published book. She currently works remotely as an editor for a Canadian-based brand. She is known for her passion for helping ladies and add an extra touch of elegance to their looks. She achieves this through her brand, Fascinate Her, through which she makes chic fascinators for ladies, as she is confident that there can be no limits to creativity. Wichendu Woroma Shalom strongly believes in the idea of getting relevant skills. And you are welcome to the call, Woroma. Thank you for honoring our invite. I really appreciate it. And I'll go on to introduce Adenike Adejobi, not on the call right now, but whenever she joins us, I would have done the introduction. So Mary Adenike Adejobi is the founder of the Pacesetters Writers Writing Hub, a registered entity with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Her role as the convener of the Pacesetters Conference Africa showcases her dedication to fostering intellectual discourse and knowledge sharing on a broader scale. Mary's literary contributions are noteworthy, having penned books such as My Love Letters to the Holy Spirit and The Self-Esteem Revolution, 31 Days of Affirmation and Positive Thinking. Mary Adenike Adejobi graduated with double honors degree in education, political science from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, Nigeria. So we also welcome Mary Adenike Adejobi, and I also really appreciate her for honoring this invite. So having said that, we'll go straight to questions. So if you have questions referring to Sumto right now, if you have questions relating to writing or things that you questions that you believe that as speakers you'll be able to answer things on your mind, this is a very great time to ask those questions. Hopefully others join us, but if they don't, they would have access to the recording. So the first question I'd like to ask, as we stopped around from the last session we had stopped around the point of earning from writing. So I'd like to ask, starting with Oge, how do writers for people that are just starting writing, how can they earn from writing? So maybe they've been writing for a few years or even few months, or even they just you're probably just thinking of how to make money online, and you're told that, oh, content creation is one of the big things right now. You can make money online through content. With that kind of mindset, how can they actually earn from writing or creating content online? You are muted.
I'm super sorry. First of all, thank you so much, Ennis, for the invite. And now just going down to the question, how can that make writing? So before coming on this class, there's something I decided. I'm not going to do something that can be found on Google. Yes, anybody can go on Google to search how writing and you'll get a lot of answers. I'm just going to share what applied to me when I was starting out in my journey. So there was this thing of, okay, I love writing. The way I went into writing, I love writing a lot. And it started as a talent for me before building it. But eventually, you need data to keep and everything. The money to get this data sometimes. Yes, this is why it's important first off to start making money little by little. Now, how you can start? For me, you can't just go in the field of wanting to make money from writing without having any portfolio or something that proves that you're actually. This is what I mean. It's just like going to look for a job with no experience. Now, this question you asked me is with the premise that you're just starting, say 3 months. That's what you said, yeah? Yes, you're
Yes.
just those 3 months. How has it? Have you been able to build a portfolio for yourself that can make people see you? Yes, they want to hire you as a writer to write for them, to manage their business on social media by putting out, right? So the key is not to just have this mindset of, yeah, I want to make money. You have to start step by step by first off getting your, my opinion, since you're already writing, which means you're already learning the skill, right? Yes. And you have to get your portfolio ready. And how can you do this? How can you get your portfolio ready before job hunt or before looking for gigs, before out on or whatever the platform is that you want to use? First on my list, or what I did, was to volunteer. And why do I say this? Volunteering helps with imposter syndrome. When I started out writing, I never felt confident about whatever I was doing. I felt like my writing was trash, made no sense, and it could not give people the results that they truly desire. So I really struggled with that for the first part. But I discovered that volunteering took that fear away for me. Yeah. So in 2022, I volunteered for this online media company where we were to create content for 365 days. Every single day. Content every platform. Name of the company is One Lad. Yes. Every content was
Okay.
within that time, I was writing consistently, feedback from the audience. It was just like mind blowing. I was like, yo, so I could write this well, and people were getting, they were getting the Rema, the writing. And this served as my portfolio when I wanted to order writing. If there is no experience of what you have done, mm, if I were to be the person hiring you, I would also have my doubts. Yes, this is why it's important to get your portfolio in place. Now, with your portfolio in place, you can now start looking for gigs. And these are the methods I recommended. I recommend, sorry, because they are what have worked for me. One is by selling yourself. Yeah, if you want to make money from writing, you should be ready to sell yourself. And where do you sell yourself if not on the streets of social media? This is where you sell yourself, right? So I started out on Facebook, putting out content there, back to back content. Whether I was feeling good, whether I was not feeling good, I was letting people know I was a writer, not just by singing, "Hey, I'm a writer, hire me." No, not just that, but by creating actual content that will make them see that this person is actually a great writer and she can take on our jobs. I posted reviews, not just my work. I posted reviews. I posted different forms of writing that I was into. So whenever I would get anybody hire me for a job, trust me, I was seeing it on the streets of social media that I worked on this. I worked on a personal statement today. I worked on a CP. I worked on creating content for this platform. Like I was just selling myself constantly, and in selling myself, people started reaching out to me. So it's not when you tell people about what you do, you they have you in mind for the time that they need that service. So it was not just Facebook, it was Facebook and WhatsApp. For some weird reason, I could not keep up with Twitter. I don't know. Please, my mental health, so I just avoided it totally. But Facebook and WhatsApp worked well for me. So I started telling myself on WhatsApp and the referrals started coming over time, right? So in case you're started doing this, first off, don't give up. Even if you're not seeing it immediately. The thing is, these people will have you in mind, right? So if you say today, I am a writer, I do this, this is what I have done. You say tomorrow, you say next tomorrow. Maybe they don't need your service immediately, but for whenever it comes to mind, that's okay, I need somebody to help me write my CV, I need somebody to help me write this and that, they will surely remember you and reach out, right? And another method, apart from the first one I said, is selling yourself. So I hope I'm not saying things too fast. I want to say for following, please. Just let me know.
Okay,
Continue.
I'm following. Can we get a response from any of the participants as well?
All right.
Okay, awesome.
About selling yourself. The second is code DMs. So as a writer, you should be able to observe the businesses or companies that need your service or persons on your contact list. You know them. You can see that this person has a great business. I'm going to come down to a very straight example that I applied this. Yeah. So you know those people on your contact list that most likely need your service. That person that has a really great, let's say for example, shoe business, right? But you're seeing the kind of content they're putting out, and you're like, no, this is not going to give this person the kind of customers they want, right? You know those people on your contact list, or even if not on your contact list, let's say the contact list is limited on social media, right? The organizations, you look at their page, they're not consistent with their content. That's the pain point. That is where you step in as a writer. So you can send them a DM, yes, highlighting what you do, your portfolio, and how you can help them and offer. And not like you going there to say hi, hello, and waiting for them to respond to you. Hell no, not that. But you go be prepared with an offer that will make them stop in their tracks, because you know that not everybody is going to see a random message on social media and just reply to it immediately. Yeah, so you should be straight to the point and offer your service to them in an irresistible manner. Often time than not, they will hire you if you present yourself well in their DMs. So these two things are selling yourself, cold DMing in their DMs. Okay, I said I was going to share an example of how I applied this. Back here in my home church, in our youth meeting, I just took my time to observe and see the businesses they were all doing. And most of them wanted to maximize social media, but they did not know how to go about it. So when it was time for market square, we call it market square, come and tell the body what you do, come and sell yourself. When it was time to do that, I did not go there advertising myself as, hey, I'm a writer and I can write your personal statements, your CVs. I was not calling those, far-fetched stuff. I brought it down to what was applicable to them, which was their business is taking it online with the right content to get people to patronize them. Yes. So this is what I did. I'm like, I am your go-to person if you need content for your social media account. That was just, and they kept coming, right? And I did not just put it that way. I'm like, for the first 10 people that we meet me to create a content calendar for their business, you get to have a discount. You get to have a discount for my writing service for a month. That's just it for the first 10 people. So that's an offer, right? Selling yourself. Remember what I said, selling yourself, but with an enticing offer that will make them get to you. Then the third method I tried is writing competitions, but that in itself is not stable. I remember the shege I collected from that aspect. That in itself is not stable at all yet, because a lot of people are vying for these prizes. There is always crowd, now it's almost like free thing. And where there is this free thing, you will see a mass of people at that place. So it was kind of hard, and it can leave you feeling doubtful about your skill. Yeah, so I enrolled for lots of competitions, fiction writing competitions especially, but never got to the top of any. I just got to finals and then I was out. So personally, I don't think that's a stable method of writing. And I also did Amazon KDP, writing and selling your books on the Amazon platform. I did not like it either. Why? This is not a discourager. This is not a discourager. Personal opinion, because I'm going to be sharing from what has worked for me. I am a very greedy person, amen. And so I don't like anybody splitting my profit with me. So it was not so much of it for me. But if you're okay with Amazon taking 30%, I think it's 30, right? Last time, I think it's 30, 70. If you're okay with it, I want all my money. It's all my hard work. But it does not always work that way. And the last one is, which is what I'm currently doing. It's writing scripts, video scripts for YouTube videos. And this is like another mind-blowing field with a lot of opportunities. Lots of opportunities in there. But how did I get in? It's also through these other steps, right? I reached out to the company. Yeah, I was in need of a scriptwriter to put out their brand image. They don't just want to go there saying what, but they want someone that is well versed in SEO, knowing the right words to say on YouTube to get views, and then in turn they can monetize their page, right? Reached out to them with my portfolio, of course, and then I got it. So these are the various ways that have worked for me that you can make money as a writer. Yeah, and this helps. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much for your detailed response, sharing your experience. Like you said, we cannot get this on YouTube, and as you were sharing, it made me remember uh, my my journey into writing. But before I go on, I'll ask to get Woroma's experiences as well. How do I would ask it this way: how did you prepare? So Oge mentioned that one of the ways that you can venture into writing to earn is that you have to have a portfolio. So people need to know that okay, this is what you've done as a writer. So in your case, how did you prepare a portfolio? How did you prepare your portfolio, and how did that, maybe get you the first job that paid you? And we would also like to know how much did you pay, how was it, and things like that.
Okay. Um, well, I just have to say first that Oge did an excellent job of telling us how to get into this writing. Like most of the steps that she mentioned were things that I followed through too. Volunteering, like you have to build your portfolio. People don't just want to employ anybody. You cannot just tell them I'm a writer or whatever, and you don't have your evidence. Now they say you go explain tire, no evidence. That's the funny thing. You understand? So you need that evidence. You need to show them. And how do you show them if you've never really been into professional writing? It's by volunteering. So that was what I did at the early stage of my writing when I wanted to go into professional writing. I volunteered for companies that I knew were not going to pay me. And don't be scared of taking on big companies. As long as it's a volunteer job and they won't pay you, my dear, go after it. Make the mistakes. Do you get? So make the mistakes in companies that won't pay you, so that when you get to those that get to pay you, you've already had your experience, you failed, you've learned and everything. I remember I volunteered for a company based in what country was that? I think in the US. And I was the only Nigerian girl there. I had cold feet and all of that, but I volunteered. I made my mistakes. I learned. It built my portfolio. So now if you ask me the first job that paid me, I don't remember honestly. Uh, I don't remember the first job or how much they paid. Anyway, so in addition to what Ogi said, I'll also ask that in as much as you're volunteering, in as much as you, even when you get to a job, what I'll hammer on is building yourself. Please don't forget to take classes. Don't forget to receive honest criticisms. Don't be scared of asking, how did I do? Please tell me how I did. Um, what would you like me to do better? Be open to honest criticism. I always felt like I was such a great writer, until once I put out my work there, and then someone gave me feedback. At first it didn't really feel so great, but it made sense and it made me more conscious. And the person was like, your English is not right. She was like, you're using American English and British English in the same document. And he started pointing out a lot of errors. At first, it didn't feel so good, but he was making a lot of sense. And going forward, I had to start applying it. And it has made me a great writer. So please be open to criticism. Keep pushing yourself, keep building yourself, you know. So you're always valuable. Don't stay at a particular level. Keep building yourself when you're getting into the professional space, and keep taking courses. It helps to build your portfolio or your resume or whatever. Take courses so you get to put your certificates and you get to update your portfolio and your resume. So you have a strong and appealing, a captivating resume. By the time you have your volunteer experience, oh, I worked for so and so company from this time to this time. I did a project with this person from this time. It makes your portfolio very catchy, very beautiful. And nowadays, nobody cares. They want to work with someone that is experienced. So however you want to get your experience, go out there and get your experience. It's not by word of mouth. So I don't want to say much more because Oge has actually done an excellent job on teaching how to get into the writing space professionally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to like make this ask for the sake of clarity. So when you're building your portfolio, um, like I don't know how to, because in my head your portfolio has to be like uh, just something to prove that you have written. So is your portfolio your CV or your resume, or um, how how exactly do you put together that portfolio and how do you present it? I don't know if you get that question.
Okay, so your CV, or okay, your portfolio does not have to be the same, right? Now, I don't know if you've heard of Behance. There's a platform that they call Behance. When you go to Behance and you go to a writer's page and you see the writer's portfolio, you just get to see all the writers or the designer's works. That's all you see there.
Okay.
Now, your resume, on the other hand, would have your educational experience, your professional experience, your certificates. So that is a contrast between the both of them. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if we're putting together a portfolio, it means as a writer now, your work has to be it has to be on not necessarily a platform, right? But maybe it has to be somewhere, maybe in a document where you can maybe you have a link to it or something like that,
Your
right?
portfolio is pretty much your work.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that response. So far, I've gotten the fact that first of all, this what we are sharing or what we are learning doesn't only apply to writing. It applies to pretty much anything, anything that you want to apply for that you aim that your goal is to earn from. So even if you're a designer, you are into tech or whatever it is that you're doing and you want to earn from that thing, all what we are saying applies. So you have to sell yourself, you have to build your portfolio, as Oge said, you have to volunteer. And I particularly like the part of uh cold DMs. I think that's quite scary a bit, but yeah, I think it's something that we really need to learn to do. Reaching out to people. First of all, the fact that you can see a problem with someone's business and you you know that okay, this is probably how you can come in to solve that problem. I think that's excellent in the first place. So we really need to develop that problem solving ability and then put ourselves out there by actually approaching these people that oh I think this is a problem with your business, with what you are trying to sell, what you are doing, and I think this is where I can come in. And if they they are willing, that is your chance to learn and build your portfolio that we have said. Thank you so much for the detailed response. I've really learned a lot, and I hope we have learned something too. That's referring to Somto and Divine on the call. I hope you are gaining from this session already. I hope you are gaining value.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
Okay, so if you have questions, yes, thank you. So if you have questions, I'm not just the only one here to ask questions. Don't let it be only me that's asking questions. If you have questions, you can drop it in the chat. Or since we have few on the call, you can just signify and or just unmute your mic and ask your question. Okay, so do you have a question? I see that you're raising your hand.
Yes, I do. I have a question.
Okay, you can ask your question. I can hear you clearly.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the things you said so far. They are really things that if anybody in any field put them into practice, it will really take them a long way in their field. So this is my question. We are talking about writing mainly, though you've mentioned things that touch other fields. So my question is, let's talk about technology. A computer scientist, yeah, a web developer, graphics, and software developer. And I know that a lot of things are now kind of in place. I won't say to replace. I will say to kind of do the things that writers do now. That even someone without the experience.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I'm hearing you. I can't hear you clearly. I can't hear you. I don't want to call.
Okay, sorry. Hold
Can
on. Let me-
can we all hear him, please? Maybe it's just on my end.
I don't know if you can hear me clearly now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's so much better now. So it's
Sorry.
more,
Sorry, I was far from my phone. Um, okay, this the question I was asking is we know that presently a lot of things technology-wise has been put into place to kind of do the things that writers can do. It has made people, even people with zero experiences in writing, are able to come up with wonderful content. We are talking about AI now, artificial intelligence, and we know we have a lot of them. So my question is, as a writer you are, Ma, how do you see this? Do you see it as a challenge? Because I know some people see it as AI have come to carry our job, or AI have come to take our place, something like that. So my question is, how do you see it? Is it as a challenge or as a means to even improve your writing, something like that? Thank you.
Okay, I think you can go with first with it. Okay.
Okay. When when it started happening, I remember the adrenaline rush and wanting to feel like you're out of place when there is AI. But then I got on this class. I was reading lots of opinions about it, trying to find my footing in all of it. And I got on this class by John Ridley. I don't know if you know him. And he said something very remarkable about how these things are in place for you to maximize them. So in reality, there is a set of people that feel threatened by the presence of AI. And there are a set of people that are actually cashing out because of the presence of AI. So do you know there is something or a job description now known as AI writer? Yes, there is. Okay, I'm also going to divide this and talk about it again. Firstly, there is this set of employers that they don't want anything AI in their writing. Because if you notice, AI is still very much under development and they tend to produce content that is sounding, one tonish. Yeah, it's sounding.
I think she has network issues. I hope she gets back soon. Okay. In the meantime, Woroma, can you continue with from where with the question? Hopefully she joins us back soon.
Can you take question
Yes,
please?
we
Like
can hear
just
you.
please can you take question again just briefly, please?
Okay, yeah, so he said the advent of AI, uh, what do you think about the advent of AI? Do you think it's going to, take the job of writers? And what do you have to say about it as a writer?
Okay, well, AI, hmm, to an extent, there's a chance that it can actually affect jobs of writers. However, we have like different types of AI, right? We have the Grammarly that helps in the editing. So I'm guessing that the AI that this person is referring to is like requesting for write-ups, right? Not just like um I'm just guessing that it's just for like it's for, let's say, employers going directly to request for write-ups. In as much as that can be done, right? I don't know the effect it can have when it comes to plagiarism. Because for people that have websites, I don't think they would want to use AI because they would want something more organic, like someone already mentioned in the comment section. And I doubt that AI gives that. I think I'm kind of stammering because I'm not really an AI person. I don't think I've ever used that. The only AI I use is the Grammarly. And even with that, even with the advent of AI like Grammarly, you still have to have your common sense and your common knowledge of your writing and grammar and all of that. So with that, I'll still say employers might still look out, will not even mind, will still look out for organic and natural writers, because say you want a particular write-up addressing a particular topic and then the AI is not giving you what you want, maybe it's beating about the bush and you cannot really communicate with it because it's not human, or like, for crying out loud. So you'll probably want a human that will say, no, 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 no. At this particular paragraph, twist it, talk about this instead. You get? So my answer to that question is that even with the advent of AI, right? Of course, we would have employers that would want to save their money. But set, but we would have employers that would still want organic content. And you know that AI AI still has its downsides. And it can never be as intelligent as humans, because I use Grammarly. I have my understanding of English. Even with the use of Grammarly, there's some things that Grammarly puts out, and I'll be like, no, I don't agree with this. This is not what I learned in English. Grammarly is AI. But like, this is not what I know in English. So I think it applies to the writing too. I've never really tried that. So the originality and intelligence, and then plagiarism's sake, especially for website owners, I doubt that they would really want to go for AI as opposed to human writers, except say those that really want to save their money, and the content can never be the same. So sorry that I kind of like stuttered at the beginning, but this is my response to the question.
Okay, it's thank you very much for that. I'm actually a bit I'm surprised and at the same time like impressed that you've not used AI, generative AI, except Grammarly. So Soto was um you were raising your hand, so I maybe you want to clarify something before.
Okay, yes. Okay. This is just what I wanted to say. You know, AI presently has gotten to that level where it is now very, very difficult to differentiate what AI has written from the organic materials and organic things, that's things written by real human beings. Take, for instance, I was working on a project, and because of time, I had to make use of AI to, quicken my research. Now, when I was through, I had to check for plagiarism. Now, to my very surprise, that particular writing had 0% plagiarism. I was surprised because I expected that, okay, AI should be able to pick in from one place, and things like that. And it had 0% plagiarism. And, if AI is like this, and, someone who is new in writing, or let me not say someone, so a company that needs a writer knows about this type of AI, they may not see the need to employ a writer. That's what I was asking. They may not see the need since there is something that can provide information like this. Now, AI is not even just, it did not just stop there. It's even to the level where you have there's something we call prompts, how you give the instruction, how you ask questions. Now, it's how you ask your questions that the AI will give you feedback. You ask your questions simple, it answers simply, but then you put in emotions. Okay, at the top paragraph, do this, at this point, do this, do that. AI will give you exactly that. And when most people looks at it, there is this point where I tell some people who are just starting, I tell them, see, just give up. But then it is not there for us to give up. So that's why I was really asking the question, because I know even in my own field, a lot of us I've seen a lot of things that have discouraged them to back off because of AI. But I know in writing, it's even bringing in a lot of things more. So that's why I asked the question earlier. Thank you.
Okay. Um so I think network is really dealing with our speakers. Hopefully they join back because Oge was saying something she was saying something quite valuable on this matter. Before our speaker Mary Adejobi is back. She's here. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, so we're talking about the advent of AI and whether or not it's a threat to writers, especially aspiring writers or people that are yet to people that are just starting out in writing with little or no experience. So I'm just going to chip in what I have to say about it before Adenike speaks. Please, I apologize. I'm trying to get across to the other speakers. They're having network issue. I apologize. Okay. So I've gotten across to them. Hopefully they join back. So that's yeah. So what some people said about AI and the things it does, I think is actually quite a lot. But for me, like Oge was trying to say something that there are different types of employers. Like Woroma was also saying, there are still employers that desire organic content. Then I during the process of working with someone, I got to know about AI detectors for write-ups as for content. I did not know about it. That was sometime last year, and I was like, wow. So there are things that there are sites that are now that are available to detect AI. And then the issue of plagiarism, I'm just saying what I know about the matter. The issue of plagiarism also, I also discovered, there are different sites to check plagiarism. Some are more, they are less effective than others. So some are less effective than others. I found out that there are some softwares or sites that you use to check plagiarism, and if you use AI to write that content, it will flag it as well. So I believe these things are intertwined. It still depends on the kind of software that you're using to check these things. But what I have to say about the matter is, just as with every job that AI is threatening, because AI is threatening so many jobs right now, not just writing or the writing industry or writers. Just as with every job that AI is threatening, the jobs are changing, or the job description or the kind of job they are changing, and so we have to evolve with that change. We cannot just remain stagnant and expect things to just continue like that. So AI has come. You're a writer. You find that it's beginning to affect you or it's threatening you. Okay, what do you do? What do you have to change then about your writing style? What do you have to do to stay on top of in the writing space? I believe these are things that we have to actually ask ourselves, because I don't believe that it will just kick us out entirely and then we are not able to write and nobody requires our writing content anymore. I believe this is what I have to say. So, because if you just stay under that fear that AI is going to take my job and things like that, then you are not ready to, I believe you are not ready to grow. You're not ready to grow, because it's not that just as AI is, removing many jobs, making many jobs become obsolete, it's also creating new jobs. It's also creating new jobs. So I was talking about AI detectors. We're also getting to a point where people are going to take this issue of differentiating real content from AI content very seriously. People are going to, and I think people are already doing that. Even Google itself, because I'm into SEO as well. If your website has a lot of AI generated content, you're not going to rank. So Google is updating its what do they call them? Google bots is bots to discover to discover AI content. And so if you discover that your website, you just ask AI to give you the answers. 300 was 1000 was 1500 was, and then you just copy and paste it on your website, and Google discovers that they're not going to let you rank. So you just discover that you're behind, you're not ranking. So these are some of the areas that we have to look at it from. So I'll give it to Adenike. I don't know if you have something to say about this matter before I put you back on the call and she go from there. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Good evening. It's
Good
really
evening.
back. Nice. It's really nice to be back here. Thank you so much for having me once again, Ms. Jesselboko. And of course, I heard a little bit of what other speakers contributed to this matter. And interestingly, have a very personal experience and very sweet and very shocking. So where I currently work, my boss called me, that was a few days ago, called me, was like, how do I create my content and how do I get inspiration for my content? And I told him organically, I don't use AI, I don't do anything like that. You will not believe that this man told me that I should go and find AI tools to be using. He told me to search and ask, make my research for AI tools that I would be using. Okay. When I heard that, I was like, is it not organic content that you guys are looking for? So first of all, let me answer the question like this. For me, AI is not a threat to writers. I don't even see it as a threat at all. Because, when this AI started, getting viral and everybody was running, scatter, saying it's going to take their jobs, what I did was I invested, especially when ChatGPT came out and was raining the first time, what what I did was I paid 50K to someone that would teach me how to use ChatGPT intelligently and in a way that no one would know I use the ChatGPT to do this. So I like we should go beyond that place where we begin to say AI is a threat. It can be a threat, but AI should not be a threat to you because yes, these organizations, companies, and employers, they know that AI exists. They know, and what they see it as, and what I want everyone to see it as is that AI has come to help you, not to replace you. Because the reason why, okay, the instance I gave to you, my employer telling me to go and research about AI tools that I'll be using, why did they employ me then? Do you understand? They still need someone experienced, someone that is an expert to work on this AI, to use this AI for them, for massive results. So AI has not come to replace you at all. It will only replace you if you are not evolving. Remember I told you that I had to pay 50K to someone to teach me how to use this thing very well. So I wasn't trying to be doing it, I too know, and all of this thing, trying to figure it out on my own, because I know that someone has already mastered it. Someone already knew, studied the ChatGPT, knew how it worked, and is willing to train me. I didn't care about the price and everything. I just opted in immediately and I learned it early. So when people are saying, I can't relate because one thing is this though, do not depend on AI. And for newbies, if you don't know what you are doing, if you don't know what you want, the results, the kind of content you intend to generate, and if you don't know how to differentiate AI content from human content, original content, then AI will replace you. Because, yes, because what a normal novice would do is type, give a prompt a novice prompt to this AI, and it's just going to bring novice content to you. Because just like someone mentioned, that is the prompt you give that to give back to you. But there's this learning how to prompt AI itself is another training on its own. So I think what will give you an edge when it comes to using AI is how well you can prompt. And then even after you have prompted this whole thing, and especially for writers, after you have prompted this whole thing and that's brought out the content for you, you will still have to sit down, because this thing AI is not meant to do the work, every work for you. Just for me, it inspires me. In fact, it sets me on my toes. I just use it to generate some things. When okay, when I'm in a place where I have to generate about 10 contents in a little period of time. So it assists me. Whenever I do that, I bring whatever it generates for me. I will sit on it for another extended number of minutes to edit, to replace some words, to delete some paragraphs, replace some words, add my own paragraph, fine tune it, to work it very well, that we will know that you can see my style in it, you can see my emotions in it, you can see my stories in it. So when I submit it to you that this is what I created, you will never know that AI helped me, because it will look exactly like something I did by myself, all on my own from A to Z. Because I have tweaked it to showcase my style, to showcase my emotions, to showcase every single thing I needed to showcase. So first of all, we should have the mindset that AI is not easy, should not replace you, and should keep evolving, keep learning. Make sure AI is there to just make it like an assistant, a PA, all right? Especially, for AI cannot be, you can't rely on it 100%. Like one of the speakers was, talking about Grammarly. I've been using Grammarly for years, and the truth is, Grammarly is not 100% correct.
True.
Grammarly makes a lot of mistakes. But for newbies, novice or newbies who do not, who just heard that okay, Grammarly is there to help you, and they just depend. They call themselves editors. Yet they are using Grammarly 100% for their editing, for clients' work. I'm like, that's not right. Because for me, Grammarly comes after I have done my whole job, after I've done my whole editing. Grammarly is like my last option, just to check where I must have, made a mistake and everything. Do you get? For some people, they just depend on, okay, give them a manuscript to work on, or a client or a content to edit. Just take it to Grammarly, and Grammarly will suggest wrong things. They will accept suggestion and everything like that. So first of all, for any AI tool you are using, make sure that you are good in whatever you are doing. You're a good writer. You are an expert. You know what you want. You know the results you want, such that when even the AI you are prompting is not giving you what you want, you will know that okay, this is not my results. This is not what I want. You'll be able to, reprompt till you get what you need. So first of all, you have to know what you are doing. You have to know what you want. Then use AI to assist you. So don't say, okay, do not depend 100% on AI. Know what you want, but let AI assist you. Let it make life easier for you. Okay, so that's what I will say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your response and the example you gave with your at your workplace. Yeah, we need to be familiar with these tools. So I don't know if Oge would like to still speak on it. You're saying something quite valuable before network interrupted.
I'm
Yeah.
still paying.
So sorry.
But I think Mary, she did just topic. Yeah, she said a lot of my points that I was already had in mind.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much. So I believe that your question has been answered. So thank you for bringing that interesting angle to it. So AI, ever since I learned about this whole uh, trend, or this whole matter of whether or not AI jobs, and then I watched a few videos on it. I listened to people talking about it and the way they explained it, I stopped being afraid. And just like Adenike said, it would only replace if the noise is stop. Because the truth is, AI has come to stay. So that's one fact you need to accept. A lot of people have refused to still accept. A lot of people have refused to accept this fact. I don't know why. So that's what we need to accept. It's here to stay, and it will keep evolving, because right now mentioned how the prompting, sometimes they are the owners of these things, the people that built these things are working on it more and more. Like just as there are AI detectors to AI, they are working on AI so that it's not detectable as AI. So they'll keep working on these things and it won't end, right? And we'll get into all this whole battle of AI and people trying to. I feel like it even gets to a point where uh, organic content or original content, let me use the word original content, would be needed. Like content that you know that this content came from experience. And like Adenike said, you can still differentiate. You need to even learn how to differentiate real content from AI content. I read someone's status, someone that is also in the writing space, has a publishing industry and all of that, and he said something that he put something up on his status that like how would I put it? He said if you are looking for real content, or if you're looking for depth and something like that, that you should go back and read content that came before AI. That was what he put up on his status, and I was like, this is true, because a lot of depth, a lot of work would have gone into those content like before the time that AI came. That's if they've not republished republished the content, of course. So, but yeah, his reason for saying that was that, right now we have a lot of shallow content, and this is actually now a time for writers to, for us to be outstanding, right? Because now there are a lot of shallow content, there are a lot of um, mediocre works, like it's just rubbish. Let me just put it that way. A lot of people depending on AI to just create content. There was a time I was doing, when AI first started, that mistake, I actually, got into it. So I just put it write this topic for me. And I just copied and pasted uh on my website, and it was someone that pointed it out to me. You understand? So someone critiqued it, and it was like, he just looked at it. He was like into tech. He just looked at it and it was like, he used AI to write this. And at that point, I felt bad, honestly, because the reason I felt bad was, oh, before AI came, was I not writing content? Why did AI come and I just suddenly just gave, just depended on it to just generate everything, no editing, and I just pasted on the website. And to the extent that someone, he didn't even read through the article, he just saw the general way that AI, generates content, and just said he used AI to write this. There's a way it summarizes very, very the word is not coming to me right now. It generally and without emotions, and it just gives, at the end, just gives this summary of everything that's said at the beginning. It's AI if you've been using it for a while. And so he just saw that and it was like, yeah, I said yes, and I felt bad. And that was the last time. Anytime I want to do that, I remember that experience, because it made me feel bad. Like, okay, you've been doing this before AI came. Why should you now depend on AI? So I believe this is something that it starts with your mindset. Don't depend on it, because AI has come to stay. Use it as an assistant instead. And there are many AI tools, like many, to help in designs, to help not just even writing alone, to help even in research writing, different kind of writing. But use all these things to help you, not that you depend on it. And then this is a time to stand out and make your content have depth, right? Make your content have depth. I started a book by Cal Newport, and I'm yet to finish it. I'm yet to even get anywhere in the book. But just by reading a few pages, I learned a lot from it already. And it was explaining how that a lot of things that people are doing right now there's no depth in it. No depth at all. Everything is just so shallow because people are not giving in the time and efforts and hard work, needed to generate things that you have depth. Something that has depth, you definitely know. Like a lot of people will go through it and they'll know that no, this thing has depth. I'm sure there are some writers' book, like popular writers like Chimamanda, Wole Soyinka. Their content, their work has depth, right? And so we need to stand out in this area. Don't just you want to do everything quick and stuff like that. You find out that your content will have depth, and at a point it would leave you out. Like I said, Google, they're updating their bots for in SEO. If you are using generative AI content, you're not going to rank. You just be there. You think you are doing well, you're not doing well, and many other instances like that. Thank you very much for bringing this angle to it. I really appreciate it, and I think that for those on the call, we've learned a lot from this already. So so far we've talked about ways that you can earn from writing. We've talked about building a portfolio. Our speakers have covered depth on this area. So before we wrap up for tonight, I'd like us to speak about there's this question, like, and I'll direct it to Woroma. Can you build a business out of writing to the point that you're not doing anything except writing? Like writing is your only source of income, like just writing, creating content, you're not doing anything else. Is that possible?
Yes, it's very, very, very possible. Because you can get to, normally writing takes time, but you can get to the point where you have a lot of jobs, you have so many jobs, and you've built yourself to the point that the jobs are paying you so well that you don't even have to stress yourself to have another source of income, because you're probably not even just working for one company. You have different companies that you're working for and are paying you. So you don't even have time for another job. And to give quality content, you need to invest time also. So yes, and yes, you can get to that point in writing where you're earning really good and you don't need any other source of income because you have a great source of income from the writing, from professional writing. We have a lot of people in that line right now. Yes.
Thank you for that. So to follow up with that, from your bio, we saw that you are presently studying medicine and surgery, and you're also working as a writer, as an editor. So we'd like to know, how are you able to balance it? Because I believe some of our participants here, someone like me as well, I'm not only writing, I'm also doing other things, right? I also plan to further my education like you are doing. So how do I balance it with writing?
Okay, first you need to know how much of time you want to put into your writing, and you need to be devoted to doing that so that you deliver quality content to your employer, right? So my kind of job, I need to devote 15 hours a week, which is 3 hours a day. Fortunately, sometimes I don't exactly have to give up to 3 hours a day. So I know that with that, I can be able to balance it. I am able to currently to balance it with my academics. I know that from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., I don't have time for anything aside my academics. And then somewhere within 4 p.m. to about 6 p.m., I can chip in. That's during the week. I can chip in I can do some jobs, and then I have to go for my night study from like 6 p.m. till late at night before I come back and then rest. But I know that weekends are like my best times, Saturdays especially. I get to invest a lot of time into studies. And then also, can make do of free times as a student or as someone that has another job, even though professionalism advises that if you have an office job or something else, you should not use office time for something that is not that office work. But I'm a student, so I can have a free time, say a class that's not hold. I do that a lot. And then within that time, I invest in my
Right.
attention into editing some articles that my employer sends to me and all of that. So that's how I balance it. I know at some point I have to pressure myself to meet up. Maybe if the job is like bulky at some point or somehow, I have to like give it more time and all of that. But you just have to first understand the amount of time. You need to learn to like divide your time. I'm a student, I'm a writer. How much time do I have to give into writing? Because I need to make money as I'm a student to like report myself. So how much time do I need to give into making money? And how much time will be sufficient for it to give into making money in like a great way, professionally, giving quality content? And then how much time can I still use to meet up? And most of you know that my course is quite tedious. You're in class most of the time, and when you're not in class, you're studying, and there's a lot that you have to study. So at some point, it can be really, really tasking. So you just have to know that this is the amount of time I need to give into my job, and I must give it. If you don't want to give it in bits, you must give it at once so that you meet up and deliver at your deadline. So that's how I balance it.
Thank you very much. I would like to hear from all the speakers. So, Oge, I'd like you to go next. I know that you are a nurse, and you are also a freelance writer. So, and you go to work like daily. So, how are you able to balance it both? And yeah.
Okay. If by any chance okay, so I'll start by saying balance is balance is sacrificial. Not like when you say balance, everything is going to fall in adequate portions, everything is going to, it's very, which means the time that many people will have to, let's say, cruise around, have fun, and be relaxed, you might be spending writing or trying to, meet up with your deadline. Another thing, balance is relative to me. I share my tip, but it's going to, just like Miss Woroma, it's going to be according to your schedule. You need to understand what works for you. Personally, as a nurse, 24-hour shifts, sometimes it gets very tricky. I now have to spot times during the day where I am less busy and free to, take up a writing gig and meet up with the deadline. Yes. So that's my trick. When I'm at work, it's not like when I'm at work, I just seize everything. There are some times during the day where the workload is not, I, I can spare time to write. I maximize that very, very well. Then once I'm off duty, that's the time I use, take a finish and I work at it. So you just need to understand your own schedule and what will work best. That is very simple. You will need to set aside to beat your deadline and know when the time is for work, like your other job outside of writing, when that time is for work, then know the time that is for writing. So just make that sacrifice and I think you'll be fine. This is just it for me.
Okay. Thank you very much for the response. So, what I've gotten from both responses is that you have to check your schedule and be able to manage your time. So if you need this money and from writing, you just have to find what works for you. So don't take contacts that that you might not be able to deliver on, and try to be as flexible as possible. So it's all about time management strategies, and really need to invest in learning how to manage your time. So like I think like Roma said, she said it might not be, no, I think it was okay that said that, sorry, that like might not be like other cases or like other people that when they're done from work, they just go home and rest. In your case, you have to now get into the other work that you're doing. So I think this is something very important to note. Thank you so much for your responses. Do we have questions from our audience? This is your time to ask. This last session. After this, there's no other session on writing like that I know of so far. This is in the next 3-4 months. So if you have questions right now, I'm sure there are writers on this call. I know that Busola is a writer, Mercy is a writer, Divine is an aspiring writer. Some has asked the question, some is in the text space, but he also writes as well. So if you have questions, please ask your questions now. Please let me get questions. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for questions in the chat, so you can type your questions in the chat. I want at least 1 or 2 questions from the audience before we wrap this off, please. So while you are typing your questions, I just want to speak a little about guest speakers, appreciating them. I've worked with the 3 of them at different times, and I've really appreciated I've really enjoyed working with them. Yes, I've really enjoyed working with them. So starting with Adenike, please use this moment to type your questions in the chat, or if you want to say them, you can just signify before we wrap this off. Please, I'll start calling names. So, but let me just do this briefly, just really appreciating and giving a shout out to the speakers. I've rehearsed saying this in my head. This is me just being real right now. I've rehearsed saying this in my head a lot, and I'm like, let me just say it. So, but I'll be quick about it. I think the first writing training I attended online was by Mary Adenike, and I think that was either a first or second training she was putting out. I'm not sure. Way back in 2019 or 2018.
That was the first one. You're one of my first students.
Yes, so that first training, and it was okay. Divine has asked the question. Great, so I'll read it out. So it was amazing. It was very affordable, and someone recommended it to me, knowing that I loved writing. And I just said, okay, let me just do this. I didn't have any plans for any from writing, nothing like that. Just because this person I know recommended this to me, let me just go for it. I didn't even pay the money myself. It was 1,000 naira at that time. I paid 500. I contributed with my sis with this agreement that it would be on my phone, but she would like learn from it later on. She never did. She never did. And I got to, with that money, using half of my money, I got to I had access to a great personality. I had access to that support even after the training. I think the training lasted for about 3 days to a week. But after that, she encouraged me to go for a writing challenge organized by another writer on Facebook, where I had to put out content every day for that challenge of 21 days. I had never done that before. So just like Oge said about creating a portfolio and volunteering and just doing things to sort of like beat that imposter syndrome, it's very important as a writer. After I did that for 21 days, I was like, for the fact that, first of all, in the process of putting out content like that, I had to reach out to people to engage on my content. And that was something that I was also shy of doing. So reaching out to people, please engage on my content. A lot of people got to know me from there. So they're like, oh, you're putting out content, I have to write stories, anything that comes to mind. Sometimes morning and night. And I think I came in like third place, but it didn't matter because I think it was only first and second that was announced. But yeah, I really appreciate your support, your presence, your contribution in my life since that time. Thank you very much. Sometimes you have to put the money in, just with that, it's that like chicken change now, right? I got access to such a great personality and we've been in contact since then. She has been, pushing me in my endeavors, not only just writing alone. And I really want to appreciate you. Thank you very much, Adenike, Adejobi, and
It's
then
a pleasure. Thank you.
thank you. And moving on to Woroma, Shalom. I met Woroma Shalom during the time that I was about to publish my book. So Woroma was the editor for my book, Diary of a Christian Lady, How I Overcame Masturbation. And just like the case with Adenike, Woroma gave me that support. So I just found, I think through a church group I was on, I saw her content, saw what she offered, and I was like, oh, I'd like to work with her. And she helped me through that process, not just editing the book as a book editor, but like being part of the whole process. There are times where, because I was in school at the time, there are times where I didn't want to write. I was lazy. I procrastinated, gave excuses of exams and all of that. She would reach out to me. So it took longer than the time I had said. And professionally, she should have left, right? She should have just, this girl is not serious. This girl is not serious. And just leave me alone. But she kept coming back. Okay, we've stayed too long on this project. Let's change the timeline and let us stick to it. And she was pushing me, And when we're done with the editing part, I still reached out to her even for the publishing stage, which like she wasn't the one involved in that, right? She only had edited the book. But I kept asking her for advice. Oh, how do I publish? I don't have money. How do I do this? And I remember one advice she gave me, which I took to it because I considered even borrowing money to publish, and she was like, personally, she wouldn't advise that. Personally, she wouldn't do that. And I took to that advice, and thank God I didn't borrow to publish. She also helped with the designs. When I was thinking of the design for the book cover, anything I thought of, and I gave it to the designer, which is another person, I would reach out to her. Oh, how do you think this design looks? Is it okay? These are my thoughts. Like she understood rather my own thought process. And I really, really enjoyed working with her. Thank you so much, Woroma. And to note, I've not met any of them physically. I've not met any of them physically. Thank you so much, Woroma. I really appreciate your contribution.
Welcome.
Because of you, the book is out there and it's blessing a lot of lives. Thank you very much. And then there's Oge. Yeah, I'm really excited to do this. And then there's Oge. I'm not pronouncing it right. There's Oge. I met her just recently, as well, from an online platform. We're not talking, but after I think one or two things happened, we started talking, and I enjoyed interacting with her. Just from when I started viewing her status. That was when I got to know how awesome she is at writing. And just like the only other person that does this correction with chatting, like you should chat in full with your commas and full stops where it's supposed to be as a writer, aside Mary, was Oge for me. Like those are the only two people I've had interactions with that do that, and it was wonderful meeting her. Then I got to work with her, helped edit the pamphlets, the booklets that we are using at Gifted Brain Academy, sharing to different schools, in different secondary schools that we go to presently. The pamphlet that we share, Oge edited that, and it was amazing working with her because I think I have this kind of personality that if I'm working with somebody, I appreciate that the person should help me through the whole process. because I get tired easily. I tend to give up or get frustrated. Yeah, that's the word. I tend to get frustrated easily, right? But working with Oge, she helped in that area. She took it up upon herself when we had to reduce the words to fit into A4 paper and make it relatable to students in secondary school, like junior secondary and senior secondary school. And I really enjoyed working with her as well. Thank you so much, Oge, for your advice from time to time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. So I when I thought of this writing session and they all came to mind, and it was just amazing bringing this wonderful wonderful people that have made such great impact in my life all together in one place. I really appreciate your contribution and your presence in my life, and I do not take it for granted. Thank you very much. So I'll be going to the question that Divine asked. She said, what are the strategies you can employ to earn money through writing? Okay. Then secondly, how can one improve the quality of their content? Okay, so the strategies you can employ, we already talked about that. Yes, you missed that. So you can watch the recording. I don't want to go over repeating it, or I can drop that as a VN in um, your chat so that we don't waste time repeating that. But basically, we talked about building a portfolio, volunteering, and reaching out to people through cold DMs and selling yourself. That is a summary of what we talked about. So you can watch the recording. The recording of this session will be available, so you can watch it. And I'll also try to drop a VN on that in your chat. Then how can one improve the quality of their content? I think we've also talked about this as well. Um, be open to feedback. Let people critique your contents, right? Let it go out there. Listen to what people have to say. I think Woroma was talking about how she thought she was a great writer, but she received feedback, right? And it wasn't something so big, like it was about the fact that she was using English, American and British English in in the same documents, in the same content, and the person was like, it's not good enough. And she started working on that. So getting feedback for your content, be willing to grow, be willing to improve on your content. So you don't want a situation whereby someone gives you feedback and you don't apply it. So apply the feedback. Then also volunteering. We also made mention of this. Volunteering for companies. As Woroma said, don't be afraid to volunteer for big companies, like very big companies. So as long as it's volunteering, you're allowed to make mistakes and learn because they're not paying you. So as long as they're not paying you, you're allowed to make mistakes and learn. But that's the key word: make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and do better. So that's your chance to like really learn, right? Because for some there might still be high stakes, but you are volunteering, so they know that you are volunteering and they have that obligation to teach you or to give you that space to learn. So that's the advantage of volunteering. A lot of people take this for granted, a lot of people, but I hope you don't take it for granted. You know, even some of we have volunteers with us at Gifted Brain Academy, and you know, I was just thinking recently of how much I've invested into them, into the blog writers, the volunteers at Gifted Brain Academy. I've never held a writing training class. I've never reached out to people that, oh, I want to teach you how to write. I've done nothing like that. But for the volunteers at Gifted Brain Academy, writing on our blog, our website, and on our writing content for our social media pages, I have to teach them, and I have to teach them everything that I know and everything I'm currently learning. Sometimes I'm basically, as I'm learning something, I'm sending it to them because they are volunteering with us. So that's like the gem of volunteering, and I hope you really take advantage of this. Are there other questions from Mercy? Mercy, do you have any question? I don't know if she's on the call. Okay.
No, ma.
Okay. Awesome. Somto, do you have any other question?
No, ma.
Awesome. So I've gotten reply from everyone. Divine has also dropped a comment on the chat. Thank you all very much, amazing host, and to the speakers. Thank you very much. Thank you. I join you to say a big thank you to our speakers. The answers were absolutely insightful and helpful. Yes, very insightful and helpful. Like Oge started with us, she said, you cannot get this online. So there are certain things you can ask Google, how do you make money through writing? How can I do this? You can even ask ChatGPT, right? Give it that prompt, ChatGPT, how do I make money through writing? I'm doing this. The secret of using ChatGPT, or one of the secrets, is giving a lot of information. They could just tell you, I'm doing this, how can I make money from this? And it will give you answers. But the answers you cannot get from ChatGPT, you've gotten it here, which is from the experiences of our speakers. And once again, I appreciate every one of them. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Oge. Thank you, Woroma. And thank you to our participants for staying with us up till this time. Somto, Mercy, and Divine. Thank you very much. I know Mercy joined this, but thank you for joining. Somto was there from start. Thank you very much. And Divine, you promised to be here and you came. Thank you very much as well. So Mary raised her hands. You can speak.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just need a few minutes to say something. I'll have to say something about you first, and then something to the participants. So I was checking through, Instagram. Was it yesterday when you sent me a link to the last session? And when I saw Gifted Brain Academy handle on Instagram, I was like, God, they've been doing a lot of work. I saw how you branded the whole thing. I'm like, wow, this guy is really, really, really trying. You are really, really trying. And I just want to encourage you that, what came to my mind when I saw that was, this is a great start. It might not be as rewarding as you planned it to be, but just give it a little bit of time and keep staying consistent. Like, you started off great and you deserve every credit, every reward, because you have invested, you have paid your dues. You have paid your dues, and you're going to see the reward very, very soon. Just keep being consistent. And I love your excellence. I love the level of quality in your graphics, in your branding, in your designs, every single thing. Please do not compromise, and just keep going and keep forging ahead like that. God will bless you. God will strengthen you. God will keep favoring you, and God will bless you abundantly in Jesus' name. Well done. Thanks so much for doing this.
Amen.
It's a blessing.
Well done, Bobo.
Thank you very much.
And then what I'm going to say to the participants is, especially people, that are not like, up to the levels of, our bosses like Miss Oge, Miss Woroma, and all of that. People like us that are just starting. What I would say is this. What I would say is trust the process. When I started in 2017 or thereabouts, nobody in my family has done this before. No one. I didn't have a brother that did it, that was successful, that I wanted to be like. I just came online. I just knew that I needed to, be more than I currently am. I wanted to be more. Do you understand? I wanted to be extraordinary. That's how I started. So do not be pressured. Trust the process. You cannot be like me if you start now. I've been doing this for the past over 6 years. So it's not automatic, it's a process. I'm a lover of process. So keep learning, give what you can to learn. Be teachable, learn. And know that all this learning, it won't come for free. Sometimes you have to pay, and sometimes you have to pay with your time, just like this, right? So please trust the process, do not be pressured. Any pressure that will come to you now should pressure you to do more for yourself, to improve in a positive way, not the one that will make you depressed. I pray God is helping us in Jesus' name. That will be all from my end.
Thank you very much. Any few words from Oge or Woroma before we end this call? Okay. So I take it that's okay. You can speak.
Right.
I,
So, like Mary has said, I'd like to appreciate the facilitator. You're doing a very great job, and you're a star that keeps shining. From first time we got talking, I saw your desire to like make an outstanding difference, and this class, and to the attendees too, this that you've just received for free that Bobo has put together is not something you should take for granted. You should take out time to really appreciate her and then put what she has made you learn into practice. That's a way of appreciating her actually. So thank you, Bobo, for this. To the other speakers, I cut my cap for you guys. You're really amazing people. You're great people, and I pray that with Bogo and everybody here, I pray that we all keep going further and further in our careers. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Any words from Oge? I mean, the other two speakers have said something. Yes, you can speak. You can speak as soon.
Yeah, I have to follow in this. My boss is, and actually say thank you. You do amazing with your camera on from start to finish. That's a great deal of confidence, if you ask me. So thank you for putting together. It's not every time you get people who are willing to do these things for their own people to make sure that they learn. Thank you so much for having me. A big thanks to my fellow speakers, Mary and Woroma. It was amazing. I learned a lot from you guys as well. And to our participants, thank you so much for being present. You make this whole thing worthwhile. And if drop a word, it's just as Mary has said, you have to keep building. You have to keep building. You will not be perfect in one day, neither 2 days or three. You have to be consistent at, growing your skill over time. And should I say, don't be envious of those that have gone ahead. Instead, look for ways to learn from them. If you want to be like them, learn from them, copy their methods, and in the process find what works for you, because there is one formula to everybody, but you will learn a great deal from those that already went ahead of you. So this is just my 2 cents.
Thank you very
For having.
Thank you for accepting our invite. I don't know, Mary, your hands are still up. Do you want to say something? Or maybe it's from
It's
the
a
last.
mistake code.
Okay.
Yeah, the last one.
So thank you once again to everybody. I'll be ending this call right now. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel, and there will also be snippets on our social media pages. Thank you very much. Have a lovely night's rest. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much for this program. I really learned a lot.
I'm glad you liked it a lot for the fact that I just threw that question to you from the chat. I'm sure you must have been surprised from the group.
Actually,
I just felt like asking, this is divine. And once I get the instinct like that, I don't double think it or think about it. So I just ask. I didn't know whether you respond or not. Just like my other messages to the general public did not get any response. But yeah, we keep going. Thank you. Bye.
right. Bye. Good night, ma'am.